was a virus?
And welcome back to another episode of Applicable Science. We are your hosts. My name is Christopher Small.
And my name, the best co-host out here.
Okay. And then we have Chauncey. And together we are Applicable Science Podcast.
I don't even have to say my name because y'all know who I am.
Yeah, okay. So, Chris, what's on the agenda today?
I'm glad you said something, Chauncey, because we weren't about to have a topic because somebody is feeling like she's above the team today. So today we are speaking about viruses.
Viruses? What kind of viruses?
Well, I don't know. Let me pass it on to Amanda. Yeah. Pass it on to Amanda.
Okay. Proper clever liver. Okay, so today we're going to talk about viruses. And since I'm the biology major, I was volunteered to talk about this.
You kind of like volunteered.
Cold.
Yeah, volunteered. Okay. So, viruses, they're very complex and very different, but I'm going to give you a quick overview of something you would learn in like an intro level biology class, just to numb it down and so you guys would understand, because it can get very complex. So a virus, so you have cells, living things. So a virus is actually not considered a living thing, like bacteria and archaea and all that stuff. So what a virus contains. So a virus actually is in very different shapes and very different shapes, but it's actually a really small, it's smaller than bacteria. And so with that, it is a non-living thing because it doesn't encompass what the requirements of what like scientists make what a living thing is. So it has a capsid. And the most popular shape of bacteria is a bacteriophage, which it kind of looks like an alien robot where you see like the little diamond shape with like the little feet. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know what you're watching, but okay.
I feel like I saw
I'm telling you, these 2000 babes are something different.
Oh my gosh.
You have those, and then obviously now you guys know about the corona virus shape where it has like the little circle with the little
with the
corona
spikes
on the outside. Yes, and then there's several more, but those are obviously the more two popular. And with coronavirus being out right now, everyone knows what a coronavirus looks like. But okay, so the main question is how it spreads and what it encompasses. So a virus consists of, it can have within its capsid, it can have DNA or RNA. And with that, it can it can go into a host because it can't exist without a host. Or it can't spread its DNA or RNA into a host without a host. So when it goes into a host like a person, it can attach to their cells or even go into their cells. And for one, it can inject that DNA or RNA into those host cells, and either it can cause the cell's plasma membrane to deteriorate, it can cause, or either that, or it can take over the whole cell and then replicate and multiply and basically tell the cells what to do based off its DNA or RNA makeup. So there's, in viruses, there's two phases. There's the lysogenic phase and the lytic phase. So first we'll talk about the lytic phase. So the lytic phase is when you have the virus and it attaches onto the cell, and then that's when the cell basically breaks down because the virus takes over and the cell can't exist without its cell, like its plasma membrane, like I said. And also with the lytic phase, that's how it can get spread onto different things, and that's how it like quickly attacks you. That's the more faster acting. But you have the lysogenic phase. So with this also can be very dangerous because, and after this I'll give an analogy of practical of how you see this in daily viruses that people have. So with the lysogenic phase, it can kind of like stay hidden in your cells. So you might not even know that you have it. And then with that, it will multiply and more cells contain this virus. But then with that, like going through regular daily something can trigger it. Something can trigger. When I say trigger it, it can trigger its lytic phase, which is what like spreads and causes basically the cells to go crazy. So the lysogenic phase is like a silent multiplier, and then the lytic phase is like the attacker that really gets you going and destroys your cells. So you can think about this which I recently learned that herpes, the STD, it is actually a virus. And obviously there's more common viruses like HIV that people know of, but herpes is actually a virus because once it's in your system, you can't really get rid of it.
Yeah,
And
I heard that.
so the lysogenic phase is like obviously when people don't know they have it. And then how most people know that like common signs are cold sores and things like that. That's when it gets to the more lytic phase that it shows up on your body and it can be more spread. But when you're in the lysogenic phase, it's harder to be spread that way. That's how people are able to be perfectly fine having herpes. Also, another common one, HIV. So people commonly say that HIV leads to AIDS, which is a known fact, which AIDS is an autoimmune deficiency. So how the HIV virus causes AIDS is that within this lytic phase, it basically kills your helper T cells, which help fight off your bacteria, or help fight off infection. So then that's when you lose all these helper T cells. You basically decrease your immune system drastically. And then that's how people can basically die of AIDS because they're more prone to like different illnesses and things like that.
Yeah, because that's how rest in peace Arthur Ashe explained it in his last memoir when I was reading it. Like AIDS, you need like if it's an additional sickness attached to it, that's like when it's really at its worst. When you're kind of like almost. I'm not even gonna say that. So from my guess, when people take HIV pills, are they like replenishing the cells that's being destroyed, or are they attacking the HIV virus?
Okay, so I'm not
If you
100%
know,
sure,
that's fine.
but my educated guess would be that they're trying to probably avoid it turning into a lytic phase somehow with whatever they're taking, and so then that's what turns into that can turn into, because actually, so with like I said in the beginning, viruses are not living things. So viruses
But they
cannot
have
be,
DNA and RNA though.
yeah, but they still lack a lot of living functions that all other cells have.
Do you know what constitutes as a living function?
I'll look it up. It's like 10 things
That's
of life.
fine.
But like if you have to like, yeah, I learned it's just a whole list. But also, okay, wait, let me think. Get back. But okay, so like common things like antibiotics that you use to kill off bacteria and things like that, you cannot actually get rid of a virus with antibiotics and all of that. You pretty much just have to let it run its course. That's why there's not like a cure for HIV or a cure for herpes or anything like that, because you have that. And also like with the flu shot, people take a flu shot to put the things to fight off the virus, but they're not actually getting rid of the flu. So kind of like with corona, how they're trying to find some type of vaccine, they're just trying to find something to put in your body to help you defend if you ever do get it, or avoid you. Yeah, so it's like a preventative measure, just like the flu shot. So I feel like in the future, like the coronavirus shot, COVID-19 shot, is going to turn into something similar to what the flu shot is now.
They're just adding more artillery to defend itself, I guess, instead of like trying to end the war in like it's like a visual effect, so to speak.
Yeah, that's personally how I see it. But yeah, since it's harder to fight off viruses just because they're not living things and they react differently and they're so vast and so broad.
The amount of research that's probably going to viruses is probably astronomical or something like that.
Yeah, it's like
I,
oof.
I can only imagine all the research that's being done with COVID and how many dissertations about to pop out of this because of
Hmm.
COVID, like research on viruses and trees and how to cure all viruses or what if that's even possible. I don't even know.
But even also, I learned, but there are like, even though yes, viruses have a bad connotation, they're actually been used to like naturally treat certain diseases and things because the viruses they can kill off certain things. So it's like a
there's
natural way to
there's positive viruses.
yeah, like they can be used in like medicine and different healthcare. I think like also plants. I think somehow with viruses they're using the pesticide um for like
To fight
agricultural
out
area with pesticides. So they use viruses somehow to like work with pesticide. I don't know exactly,
plants
but
split. Plants are
yeah,
split.
probably to like fight off like insects and stuff like that. But they have various uses, but there's literally viruses like probably a virus on my hand somewhere. Like there's so many viruses out there in our foods and our water, just surfaces. But even the common cold is a virus.
That cannot be cured.
Exactly. Because if you think about it, when you get sick and have the common cold, what do they give you? They give you just medicine to help you with the symptoms, but then just you gotta let it run its course.
That's sick.
So yeah, viruses. There.
That's crazy. You know what else is crazy? Letting people come into your life and kill your happiness, which is our next reflection point.
Yes.
So comparing viruses to the pursuit of happiness. Now, when you think of pursuit of happiness, typically I think of one thing: Will Smith
I'm gonna say Will Smith.
and Kevin James.
Yes. Oof.
I don't think of the Declaration of Independence. I don't really think about it when I think about pursuit of happiness. But yeah, like how Kevin James character in the movie Hitch, uh, or Will Smith in the Pursuit of Happiness with Little Jaden, that movie as well. I definitely forgot about that real quick. So that's literally the two. Will Smith is in like two of the movies Pursuit of Happiness. But besides the point, uh, find your happiness and protect it at all costs because people come with viruses in the form of toxicity. Feel like a teacher right now, but I don't really want to teach. Um, uh,
Preacher?
people come with toxicity and they want to mess up your vibe. They want to mess up how you function. They want to mess
Off
up.
topic, 7 Pounds was a great movie by Will Smith.
Underrated. Underrated. Great message. Underrated.
Okay, continue, Chris.
But people want to come in your life and mess up your happiness. They want to bring toxicity, whether they know it or not. Whether they what's the two forms of the viruses again? Lytic.
There's the lytic phase and the lysogenic phase.
Whether they're lysogenic because they don't know about it, or the lytic because they know about it and they just want to see you crumble.
No, oof, oof. I can get deep into this. Oof. I've just been. Whew, okay. But yes, the pursuit of happiness, like me said, I think of the movie with Will Smith, but like even the other thing I think about is my own pursuit of my own happiness and my own goals. So I feel like obviously in the movie, like Will Smith, he was on this like, oh god, I'm a little
His
rusty.
character was on this like
Yeah, his character which was a real life story.
yeah.
But yeah, so he went through his trials and tribulations, and then he found his happiness, which I believe was with his son, and I forget how it ended, but
His character became a stockbroker because he did that little internship apprentice
yes.
and he
So
graduated at the top of his class.
yes. So yeah, like with that movie, like that That's exactly okay. So it kind of like inspires me to like, you know, like I'm a very hard worker. I have my own goals. I have my own dreams. So it's like you gotta, even though life might kick you down, you might be surrounded by toxicity in every which way of the manner, and it might seem like you're not winning. It's like doing everything to accomplish like your own goals and like reaching what will make you happy in the end. Like when I think about that's the same thing with me, like wanting to be a PA. It's like a lifelong goal. Like I want it.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like Will Smith in the movie, like not letting anything get in my way or just doing everything possible to make it come into fruition.
And one thing I do want to bring up, and Charles is going to speak to this a lot more than I could, well, I probably can right now, is social media kind of is a virus, so to speak. They portray it like um, a negative perspective on what we should be like when we're in our early 20s. Like we should be the next Mark Zuckerberg by now, but we're all behind, even though we're at a normal pace. Everybody runs a different race. Um, how everybody's traveling, even though everybody's quarantined. How everyone is supposed to be this entrepreneur, but to build generational wealth. But I mean, you could do it in multiple avenues. It's just like that's like I guess a social virus. If I can coin the phrase, or if that's not already been coined, it's like a social virus. Like you're supposed to be like this, like everybody else, but you kind of like, am I doing something wrong?
Listen, there is social media is doing a great job of putting people into a box. Okay?
That's fair.
Because social media promotes people who are like, it promotes the word cool. It makes things like, because everybody has different analogies on what they think is cool or not. But the way Twitter and so Instagram, stuff like that, it puts everything into like a little box on like what is universally cool. But it's not really that way. It really shouldn't be that way, because it really should be whatever you think is cool should be cool. But because of the world we live in and how toxic people can be, then they, like I said, force an ideal on people, and more likely or not, they're going to accept it because that's what everyone else is around them are just doing.
Okay, is that social virus Atlantic, or is it um uh dang it, I forgot the other one.
Lytic or lysogenic? I feel like it's both.
Atlantic. Okay. How is
It's just
I'm,
like
I'm
different
trying to
phases.
figure out I'm trying to figure out where's the intertwine, because I can definitely see it being Atlantic, but hygienic, how
Think
is it
about it
passive?
like this. So being okay, things I've seen. So being a young female, you know, it's being exposed to media, social media, and
Okay.
seeing how people should be like being maybe in your teens and seeing how people should be in their 20s. So you have this like preconceived notions, or like maybe when you got to high school, you're like, this is not what I thought high school was going to be. But like just things like that, like these preconceived notions of how your life should be at a certain age.
Because
And
I wanted high school to be like Zoe 101, but I got the total opposite of that. So
exactly. So, and even with that, like that's more of a lysogenic, like it building up to when you get to that point, and say if you're disappointed or you go out of your way to try and make it try it be like that, it can be toxic, consuming, and not only consuming on like you physically, but mentally as well.
and that's probably one of the reasons why you got out of it, Chauncey, or if that was the primary reason.
I just feel like there are things that like I don't want to become because
You're not
I
anti-social media. You just don't want to use it for your personal reason.
right. It's not basically because I just feel like if you go on social media for a while, your perspective on things can change, and sometimes it could be for the worse. And I don't want to be a person who, regardless of who you are, I want to be someone who I can like be the person who you can be around and be supportive of other people. If you go on Twitter for a lot, you will encounter some funny things, but you will also encounter some toxic things. And sometimes toxic can run off on you, and you can it's because it runs off on you. It will portray that to the real world, and when other people get a sense of that, they tend to run away or stay away from you because that's not the energy they're trying to go with. And or even worse, the person who you with will accept that, and they will, and that toxic start running out from them, and then it will just be a change of command or change of events. So I'm trying to stay off of social media just for the simple fact that I know what could happen if I stay on it.
I'm glad you mentioned that last point where it's like that person accepts it and then brings it and runs off with it, because that's kind of like what people think when it comes to relationships. Like it's the taking pictures, going to trips, lobster dinners, like the aesthetic size of it, and then people don't really understand the behind the scenes, like trying to form this partnership, like having this person back through it all, like through thick and thin. Like that's kind of like a virus, because if it's working when you're scrolling, you're liking the pictures. That's the active form of it. But the passive form is what your subconscious is making of it. How it's making these. This is what love looks like. If it doesn't look like that, then it's an outcast. If it's an outcast, and it's not normal. If it's not normal, then it's not right. And it's like a continuous cycle with every scroll and algorithm that these social media platforms have. It just perpetuates itself.
Listen, everyone can do better. That's just a general fact.
Fair.
But that doesn't mean just because you can do better, that doesn't mean you should take that opportunity to compare yourself with other people. Because other people have different perspectives and different circumstances. And not everyone is the same, and not everyone the same. In fact, everyone is different. Even if you're in the same family, everyone is different in their own way. So if you are on social media and you are a type of person who can get jealous, then those thoughts or those emotions can run off on you, and because of that, it will portray onto your other friends. So, like I said, like you shouldn't be comparing yourself to other people. If it bothers you that much, then you just have to do something about it. But just talking about it and just going off of on and just absorbing it is a bad, because then you're going to accept some of it and you're going to pass it on, which you shouldn't do.
But me as a competitor, I like trying to just compete at everything. Just compare myself to see where I rank or like where I stand at. It's kind of hard not to compare myself to other people, but that's just my personal just issue, I guess.
It's not. I do that too. And
So don't
the
you
thing
feel?
about the
Don't you
thing but
feel? Don't you
the
feel
thing
like you
about
always
it
compare
is,
yourself?
like, huh?
Don't you always feel like you have to compare yourself? Like you can't compete if you don't know what you're competing against.
Oh, like, don't worry. Like, I be comparing myself, but like the thing about it is, I'm not going to take that and like say like, because what people tend to do is they'll compare themselves, but then they'll be like, they'll have some negative connotations to it. So they'll say something negative about the person who did it, or like it's always something extra. It's not about what you're doing, it's about what they are doing. So instead of
Mm-hmm.
you self-reflecting, you're going to attack the person who you're comparing yourself to. And then because of that, it's making you more vindictive. When I do that, I compare it to myself and I'm saying, okay, what can I do to change and make me a better person so that I can possibly catch up to this person who I'm comparing myself to. So there's nothing wrong comparing yourself to it, but not many people will be able to self-reflect and say what I'm doing wrong. They will just attack the person instead of focus on themselves. And some people even focus on themselves too much, and then they get into a slump and depression, which is a whole nother conversation. So it
Which
just,
is what I was about to ask. Do y'all think that PTSD is like a form of a psychological virus? Since you technically can't ever get rid of it. You just have to cope with it. You have to cope with the symptoms of it.
I mean, I think it's a virus because it's something that it's something that's attached, and it no matter how long you get rid of it or it's not in your back of your mind, it's still there.
Yeah.
It's just that you just suppressed it well.
Yeah, trauma is definitely you just put it in a you locked it up in a closet in your brain or something.
Yeah, I can definitely see it. Like, and because obviously when you think of viruses, they're spread to other people, but in this case, like, it's spread like across, like, I don't know, like, because with PTSD, it affects obviously it's a neurological, but then at the same time, it can spread and become other things.
Yeah.
And that's how you can think of it like that. It's first it affects your mental, your psyche, might alter something in your brain. They're doing research on it. But at the same time it comes with comorbidities.
Yeah,
And
wasn't you weren't you doing research on that?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I was like, ooh, PTSD. But yeah, so it can come with several comorbidities, like you can have substance abuse, and that can affect other types. So it's kind of like, and also it can come with, like, depression, anxiety. It can come with even causing self-harm or causing harm to other people. So it is I would definitely agree. I never thought about it like this, but it is a psychological virus because it just literally affects people, and so it affects people in different capacities because other people have different ways to combat it or fight it off. They might have some good some good immune system per se. But yeah, so it definitely affects people differently, and like any virus, it affects people differently. So yeah, I would definitely agree.
And then you can spread viruses. Like
Yeah.
you can spread the trauma on other people. Like I have family members that have never been through that trauma that they're afraid of, but somebody told them about it, and then now they make it seem like it's their trauma, and they are traumatized by it, even though they never experienced this scenario or incident, but they have PTSD from it. So I was like, that's a form of a virus, so to speak, from the definition that Amanda gave us.
And basically, that just reminded me of something else. Okay, so this is kind of going off PTSD, but it also, I feel like, as it gives people PTSD. Think about it like this: being stopped by a cop being black. That is a virus. Like, in my opinion,
That's a virus.
yeah, you see how it affects. You see on the media, and you just read about how the long histories of it and the fear and trauma of it. So anytime that as being black you get stopped, it's like
Yeah,
you're scared to be another person. So with that, that's PTSD, and it's a psychological virus at the same time.
racism is a virus.
Yes. Prejudice.
Prejudice
Virus.
is a virus.
Bias. The virus. Everything. Virus.
Virus. So what would be one good virus? Since you said there's positive viruses, I mean, I guess a good virus is the campaign they had for voting, I guess. So that I guess that'd be a positive virus. Spreading good messages like Black Lives Matter or what else? Uh, the cigarettes, so that
Mm-hmm.
those commercials with the truth. What else would be your form of a positive virus?
I would think about
Oh,
social
supporting
media
black
wise.
women, supporting black businesses. I guess
Yep.
that's a positive virus.
But even like on social media, like conducting you, like obviously you can't control everyone, but conducting your social media to reflect something positive and providing good messages. I feel like that's a way you can, I don't know, give your type of your personal virus out into the world and make it positive.
Yeah. Hmm. Or when, yeah, that in the church. I mean, whatever your religious beef is, but mine, when the when the pastor's on the pool and they're preaching, that's a positive virus, because it's sprinkling throughout the whole congregation.
Or
If
even like,
if it's good gospel, some pastors be off the rockers, but
yeah,
yeah,
even like a smile, like, they say energy is contagious.
that's a positive.
Having good energy, and maybe even if you are having a bad day, don't let your energy exude that. Like, still try to be upbeat and still positive, because you never know, like, you being angry and being around somebody else and being uptight, how your energy could even ruin somebody else's day and you not even know it.
That should be a thing right there, positive virus. Because when you think of the word virus, it already has a negative connotation next to it. Like it's something very toxic or very dangerous or very uh, con, con, uh, consequential with it.
No, yeah, I think that's why there's a big jump for spreading positivity and not feeding into the negativity as much as you can, because it's very easy. Like, I didn't get a chance to comment on this, but like when you guys are talking about self-image and how comparing yourself to other people, like that just most definitely is a very big problem in society. And I feel like Chauncey said, like he would look into, just correct me if I'm wrong, but you would look into yourself and do, like you said, you would reevaluate yourself and not be mad at the other person. Is that basically what you said? Okay, so like it even, I don't know, it could be just my interpretation of it, but like I was gonna add, like, you shouldn't, obviously you should be always looking at other, not other people, but you should always be looking at yourself, ways to improve. But I feel like you shouldn't compare your, there should be a way to, like, not way, but like we should change the narrative when comparing ourselves to other people. It should be more of, like we said, our pursuit of happiness, of how we want our lives to turn out. What are our goals? What are our driven desires? Instead of we see somebody else and we want to. There's good role models, but not on the basis of you comparing yourself to them. Because when you compare yourself to them and you don't meet those expectations, that's when that lysogenic bad virus that you've been building up can take effect if you don't reach up to those expectations. So, because I feel like when you compare yourself, you put all this pressure on yourself, and it's not good energy. And so it's, in my perception of it, because obviously, yeah, like I can compare myself to people at sometimes, but at the end of the day, and obviously it's easier said than done, but it's kind of like knowing yourself and um knowing who you are, and kind of like pushing yourself based on your own predicaments rather than what other people tell you, or what you observe due to other people, because you never know what other people are going behind closed doors. So you might see someone with like a brand new car, a brand new job, brand new this, brand new that, and you're like, dag,
They balling.
I'm sitting here with Big Shirley.
While you playing, Big Shirley is out for the count right now. Yeah,
I'm sitting here with Big Shirley with no job. What? And it's like,
Big
but that,
Shirley. Everyone. I call my car Big Shirley. She's a Dodge Durango 2004. She she's big. So yeah,
mm,
that's why I call it Big Shirley.
but yeah, you never know what those people have behind closed doors or what took for them to get to there. So comparing yourself, everyone's paths are different. So just follow your own path. And obviously, you can have role models, you can have people to look up to. Just don't make it to the point where it's making you feel insecure and making you feel like you have to live up to their expectations when your own expectations are your own. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. But okay, now, okay. So we talked about social media, but now I think we should need to talk about toxic people in your lives. So I feel like everyone has come across a lot of toxic people on various numerous occasions, and people you might not have cut out your life, people who may have cut out your life, people who still have to be around every day, or people you might never see again. So there's lots of toxicity. It can be within your friends, it could be random strangers, it can be even with your family. Lots of different things. So does anyone have any stories about, I mean, I have mine, I can always share mine, but does anyone have any stories? You don't have to drop anything, be very vague, but like how you guys have combated toxicity within your own life and your own experiences.
Chauncey, you want to go?
Oh wait, I know for a fact.
I'll let you go first, Chris.
For me, battling toxic people, I just don't. I know there's not a good person of me and not a good Christian of me, but I just don't really care for them anymore. Like, you have to protect your peace. You have to set boundaries. You can love somebody from a distance. That's what I've been trying to do. I'm trying to learn that more and more. You can love somebody from a distance. Like, I don't wish harm on you, but at the same time, it is what it is. You are who you are. So that's how I pretty much deal with toxic people. Like, certain people, I guess they know how to get under my skin, but they don't realize it because I don't really show emotions like that when I'm around them because I just don't really care for them. But they just have this one button they can push it. It's like, ah. But I've always been like a person who don't really show emotions, even unless I'm around like real genuine people that I really care about. Then I'll show emotions because I know they have interest at heart for me, not like no selfish manner or anything like that. But other people, it is what it is, just very blank.
Toxic people come and go. I don't have no feelings for them, and I shouldn't. And so, let's just say toxic people. There's always toxic people wherever you come at, and if you address one, then you're gonna have to address all of them. So, to my point with Chris, I just if they say stuff, my emotions ain't gonna change. So it doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah, I don't like to burn bridges, but I'll definitely leave a bridge untouched. Like it's gonna get some cracks in it. It's gonna have some grass grown. It's gonna have some spider webs. Shoot, it might even be a beaver living on the bridge, but I ain't about to cross over it.
So, okay, here's another question. Have you guys ever had a toxic person who, even though like you might have known they were toxic, but like did not let go of them, or like not like let go of their friendship, or like still maintain them in your life, and I don't know, like let them manipulate you in the per se.
Voluntarily?
Like, because I mean, say if it's someone like you're really close with, like one of your like I don't know, like say one of your best friends, and like they were really toxic, but it's like you still care for them as your friend, and like but then they started being really toxic, really negative towards you, kind of like that lysogenic phase where they like planted seeds and like affected you in different manners, and then at one point it became lytic and like I don't know, maybe like affected your mental health or affected this or affected that. made you feel some type of way?
Um,
Once again, no. If I have a toxic friend, more likely I know they're toxic. Now, you may be confusing the word friend and an associate.
yeah, that's true.
I have associates that are toxic. I don't have friends that are toxic. There's a difference. And if I have associates that are toxic, more likely or not, they're associates because to keep your buck with you, I can still use them. Once you stop becoming a use, especially when you're an associate and not a friend, then you just drop off. Like, I don't, that's it.
Gotta protect your peace.
God bless you and make you and hope the best for you, but I personally don't care about you, especially after what you showed me. It's not even like I'm trying to drop you off. If you show me how you are and you're not interested in being friends, that's cool with me. As long as we can both benefit from each other, that's cool. But once you stop becoming use of me, see ya.
But okay. So I mean, because I'm just asking all these questions because I mean I've embraced a lot of toxicity and like had to learn how to maneuver. Like I definitely experienced like firsthand like the lysogenic, lytic, all of that, and I've seen it affect me and like poison not only like my like physically but like definitely mentally and I can see like you know how toxic people can just put bad thoughts or bad things in your brain. And it's like, I mean, obviously, like, I don't know. Okay, but I just want to share one thing because I know I've been rambling. So, okay, so one thing I did when I dealt with something really toxic, like after that, after I like reflected on it, I like one outlet I use to like recuperate myself is I like write poetry. So I wanted to share it with you guys. Yeah. But okay, so heard it here first.
Do we need
Okay.
do we need to get a candle and
I mean,
do we need to get a lighter and lit a candle?
no, you just gotta snap at the end.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So this one, it's specifically about. I titled it "Parasites" because I recently, when I saw the movie Parasites, I was like, "Ooh, okay, great movie. If you guys need to watch that. It's on. I forget Amazon Prime, but okay, or Hulu. No, Hulu. Hulu. Watch it. I'm telling you, great, 10 out of 10. But okay. So this is what I wrote. Okay, so I said parasites. They cling onto you, manipulate you, make your mind dizzy with confusion. They suck out every trace of life and happiness and burn your psyche to ashes. You believe it's all out of love, but really you're disabled, while they reap all of the reward. Then after so many tears, a rainbow appears, and the sun glistens down. You slowly take a sip of clarity, flicking that vermin off of you, and everything that was taken is rebuilt with strength and love for yourself. Chauncey, where are my snaps?
Amanda Badu.
But
Chauncey's a hater. That's toxic. You're a virus. You're a virus.
But no, like I definitely like even
Okay, let's go. Okay.
Even with like some of my friends, like I see like some of my friends interact with toxic people, and I see like toxicity is just crazy. I say crazy. Like you guys might not even be in toxic friendships, relationships, and might not even notice it because you might not notice that it's toxic. It's in its lysogenic phase. Best believe. But then when it blows up and then, like I said, you get a sip of clarity and then the lytic phase and it kind of blows up. It then you're like, oh, this person is toxic. But if you think about in all of your associates, you might have thought these people were actually your friends at one point. But then there was something that revealed to you that it was toxic or that it was a situation more in its lytic phase of what blew up. And like, you were like, okay, I got to get out of here. But at one point, you guys might have been close. Or one point, there might have been like, yeah, like a closeness where you guys might not have realized. Because think about it in friendships. The people, you might have been really close with people at some point, but now you're not. And it's like, why is that reason? Is it because, oh, they're toxic and they're now associates? But at one point,
y'all just grew apart. Y'all just went on two different paths.
Yep. I mean, there's different situations, but there's also the friendships that end toxic.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you can see it like that. Like, they were more in its lysogenic phase, and then at one point something triggered it, and it became lytic.
Yeah. One thing I do want to point out: wear your mask, people. It's still coronavirus, COVID-19 season. Wear your mask.
Yeah, okay. On that note.
What? No.
What?
Wear your mask.
What?
COVID-19 is
we're gonna
real.
close this episode.
It is
don't
not
wear a mask?
so.
You don't wear a mask?
Now,
He is also
if you have any comments in regards to
You don't wear a
episode,
mask?
please let us know down in the comment selection.
Chauncey Upshur.
Until next time,
you need to
please like, comment, and subscribe.
Wear a
next
mask.
time.
You better wear a mask.
Wear a. I'm a